Hi and welcome back to Cheeky Crypto. My name's Chris and it's fantastic to have you back with us for another video. And in today's video, we're going to have a look at some breaking regulatory news. Really big deal this. If you enjoy this sort of content and you want to be kept up to date, mash that like button, subscribe if you haven't subscribed already, tapping that bell, selecting all the notifications so you never miss a video. Right, let's get straight into it and down to the desktop. Okay, so we're going to start on coin market cap. So we're at $2.09 trillion by market cap. It has fallen just a little bit, and this might be because of the regulatory news coming out of Europe, and we're going to dig into that in a moment. So Bitcoin at $45,500, down 3.16%. I do think that, you know, we've been expecting this pullback. I think it's been helped by the news, but we are expecting for higher highs, right? So I want to be really clear with people. We were kind of expecting this anyway, and we do expect a nice little reversal. Do let me know what your thoughts and opinions are on that. But let's sort of get into the regulatory update, right? And we try to keep everyone updated as much as possible. So EU Parliament passes privacy busting crypto rules despite industry criticism. So, you know, where I stand is I'm very much of I guess a believer that, you know, we were never going to have privacy coins. We're never going to have, you know, an industry where, you know, you could remain anonymous. Like, that has never been something that I've ever expected to happen, right? Now, I guess blue sky world, it would be perfect. Everybody would love that, right? But let's be, you know, truly open and transparent, right? Like, you know, there's people that are malicious, that ruin you know, everything for everyone, right? With malicious activities, money laundering, and all this sort of stuff. Now, for me, like, I see the arguments. I see the arguments from people talking about, you know, they could just cut off your payments and all this sort of stuff, right? Like, they could program your money, programmable money. They will program it so you can only spend it at this shop and that shop. Like, I think that stuff is, you know, maybe going to happen in certain parts of the world. Don't get me wrong, but, you know, from a selfish point of view, I don't think it's going to happen where I am now. There's elements of these things that people talk about that already happen today, like people's assets being frozen and you know, accounts being closed down. This already happens. This is not something new, and to think that we're going to sort of move away from that side of things, I think, is just naive. But that's just my opinion. Don't get twisted. You know, like, everybody's got an opinion. I'm not saying that my opinion's right and yours is wrong. I'm just sort of being quite open and honest about my thoughts. You know, a lot of the criticism I kind of feel like comes from people that, you know, they're not really about the adoption and they're trying to keep it as it always has been. And I don't think you're going to be able to do that and get the adoption required. And that we're going to see, right? So we'll sort of get into this in a little bit more detail. So lawmakers are set to end even the small anonymous crypto transactions and plan measures that can see unregulated exchanges cut off. So, you know, for me, this has always been a risk. This is why Nick and myself have never sort of been involved with any privacy coins or tokens, because, you know, we just always kind of, you know, was of the belief that they were going to be, you know, regulated out of existence. So, or into sort of like a black market of some sort, right? But the European Union lawmakers voted today in favor of the controversial measures to outlaw anonymous crypto transactions, a move the industry said would stifle innovation and invade privacy. I don't think we've got privacy as it is, so I don't think it invades privacy any more than we, you know, already have in the world currently. Do let me know what your thoughts and opinions are on my comment just there. And as for stifling innovation, I don't agree with that either. More than 90 lawmakers voted in favor of the proposal, according to the document seen by CoinDesk. You know, they're also scrapping the minimum of €1,000, which is about $1,114. small anonymous payments. So if it was under that value, then that was okay previously, but that won't be okay moving forward. Obviously, the things that are being cited are sort of around the money laundering aspect of things. These are problems currently. I think, you know, they're less of a problem within crypto and more of a problem in the art sector of the world, real world art, that is, not NFTs. But, you know, there's an argument for NFTs also. So, you know, I guess my thoughts on this, right, it's obviously being criticized by certain people in the crypto space, but ultimately, Nick and myself have always kind of felt that this was always going to be, you know, a realistic outcome, right? There might be other areas around the world or other regulators that don't sort of go down this route, and ultimately, I kind of feel that yeah, people within the business sector, as in crypto, fintech, are going to be more negatively impacted being in Europe, running a crypto business, than perhaps somewhere that's more regulatory, has more regulatory clarity and allows some of these privacy projects or laws to not be sort of to the same sort of strictness. I don't know if the terminology is right there, but I hope you understand where I'm coming from here. So yeah, I think that ultimately, yeah, it could restrict what you do from a business perspective in Europe. As for cutting off exchanges that don't I guess comply with the new regulatory framework that they're going to be putting out, I kind of feel like this is something that, you know, shouldn't really concern too many people. I mean, Nick and myself always say that we shouldn't keep large amounts of money on exchanges, and you know, for all the hacking and everything that happens in the world currently, that is, you know, something that we've always kind of said, you know, you should keep it in cold storage, you know, in a warm or a hot wallet, for example, preferably a you know, a cold wallet, you know, off the internet. Link in the description if you're interested in Ledger, by the way. Fantastic wallet that we use ourselves. Now, you know, with all of that said, you know, I expect the exchanges that perhaps don't have KYC already, and the majority do, I imagine that they will just add it, right, and store that data. I don't think that, you know, means additional fees or anything like that on exchanges. I don't think that's the case. I really do feel that, you know, this is what is required and has always been required and is always something that we should have been expecting from day dot. I'm not surprised by, you know, the rulings that are being highlighted here. I'm really not. Do let me know if you are, but I expect that there'll be other governments or regulators around the world that won't be as strict as what is sort of being articulated here. And you never know, over time the regulations within Europe may loosen. Who knows? But ultimately, I think that this is all positive for adoption of crypto. You know, I'm not one of these centralized versus decentralized. I kind of feel like you always need an element of centralization in order to get the adoption. I think, you know, we're going to be going to a more mature market once we've had the you know, the mainstream adoption. You know, with that, I think there's going to be real structure. I don't think it's going to be too different from what we see today with, you know, traditional finance. Apart from, it's going to be far more convenient. You're not going to be able to you know, work tax-free, cash in hand. You know, I think that will become a thing of the past, right? And I think people that are negative in a way that don't support, you know, with taxation and, you know, like the vast majority of people, and in my humble opinion, you know, like, you know, are just a stain on society. Those people aren't going to be able to misbehave in the way they have historically, and they're going to have to pay the tax that's due. So there's things that I agree with, there's things that I disagree with, there's always good and there's always bad. You know, I'm very open about my opinions on this, and it's gonna anger people, I would imagine, and certain people aren't going to see it through the same lens that I do, and that is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying my opinion's right and yours is wrong or anything like that. I'm very open to having people perhaps argue or constructively tell me their point of view and why perhaps I should look at things differently. I'm very open-minded when it comes to that sort of stuff. So, you know, try not to get what I'm saying twisted. I think that ultimately, overall, this is a positive thing for the adoption and the maturity of the market. I don't believe in programmable money. And what I mean by that is I don't believe that, you know, governments are going to misbehave or behave differently to the way they currently do. I don't expect to see myself get paid, say, $1,000 a month, for example, but only $250 of that is like optional, like I can spare that wherever, and $750 all has to be spent with, you know, certain shops and stuff like that. I don't think that's going to be something that actually comes to fruition. Is it possible? Yes. Is it likely to happen? No. You know, I just don't think that is something that's likely to sort of come to fruition. So I'm I think very differently to many people that are trying to scaremonger people in the crypto space with some of this stuff that, you know, is just outrageous, and I just can't see it happening. What I do see happening though is you know, stricter regulations around, you know, making sure people aren't committing fraud and aren't you know, avoiding paying tax and stuff like that. Yes, I think that's going to be something that happens, you know, and those people should be paying their tax and their dues anyway. So, you know, part and parcel of where the space is going. Ultimately, some people are going to like it, some people aren't, but, you know, this is what's going to be happening. So I guess it's either campaign against it or you know, jump on the bandwagon and you know, come for the ride. It's kind of how I feel about things anyway. But do let me know what your thoughts and opinions are in the comments below. Really interested to know. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed today's content, mash up that like button, subscribe if you haven't subscribed already, tapping that bell, selecting all the notifications so you never miss a video, and I'll catch you in the next one. Take care.